Good morning, Thursday, May 25th, 2023. And you know what time it is. It's 5 minutes after 8 o'clock, and it's time for Island Tea. Candy. Is she there? She's not there. Oh.
That's the number one question.
Well, I admitted her, so when she's ready, I guess she'll speak.
Yes,
So
pleasant morning to everyone. Trust that everyone is having a wonderful morning. Welcome back to another edition of Island Tea. I want to start off with a positive affirmation, and it says, I embrace the rhythm of life and let it unfold. I embrace the rhythm of life and let it unfold. I embrace the rhythm of life and let it unfold. Again, pleasant morning. We have Candy on the line. Candy?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Turn up your audio a bit.
Thank you for my tea.
Yes. How are you doing this morning?
I am great. The
Yes.
weather's behaving. I'm having coffee. I'm good.
Good. And as the affirmation says, embrace the rhythm of life and let it unfold. Embrace the rhythm of life and let it unfold. What's your thoughts when you hear that?
You know, there's been so many things happening, and just thinking about this quote that you sent has turned my mind onto a bunch of things that I actually wanted to touch today. Monday morning, I woke up and I got the sad news about the passing of 19 children at a dormitory fire in Guyana, in Madia.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to touch that. I want to send condolences to everyone affected by this. It is a tragedy of horrendous and humongous proportions. I mean, we have had fires before. We've had fires in the dorm before. Living in a dorm in Guyana when I studied for my undergraduate myself, I can relate to this on so many levels, but it's never been on this proportion. And there are several stories popping out of this. And they were young girls. It's all girls. There were 63 girls living in the dorm, and 19 of them and a 5-year-old boy perished in a fire. And so I wanted to touch on that and send condolences out. But that is also a part of the rhythm of life. There's life and there's death. And then 2 mornings ago, we were faced with the passing of Sir Oswald Elliott, well-known English teacher on island.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm listening to the quote, I'm just thinking about life and how fleeting it is at some points in time. How 1 minute you're there, everything is okay. You're thinking, okay, I finally understand the rhythm. I'm working with it. I'm moving in this manner, and then within the flash of a moment, something horrific happens.
Mm-hmm.
But life goes on.
Yes.
So those are some of the thoughts that I have. And again, condolences to the family and friends and everyone that is grieving the loss of a beloved teacher,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Elliott.
Also, too, when I
Crazy.
came in
I saw him last week.
Yeah, when I came in the studio, Jamster indicated to me that another notable person has passed. He mentioned Earl Clark to me.
What?
Yeah, he mentioned that to me, and I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
I'm like Ken Richards, Mr. Elliott, and now Earl Clark in the same span of almost a week.
Yeah, the week isn't even over as yet. Oh my goodness.
And these are persons who are well known
Well known.
well known in our federation, well known. And just the time, and just yesterday, international superstar, Tina Turner.
Yes,
She
Tina
passed at
Turner.
age 83.
Yes, I remember. It's crazy because earlier, so she passed yesterday, but the night before, my dad and I were in the house and we were singing her song because we were playing a game called Finish the Lyrics. So when I saw it, it took me into a tailspin. I was like, what? We were just talking about her last night.
Yes.
Life is indeed fleeting.
It is
Condolences to everyone that has been touched by all of these deaths. The Guyanese Association in St. Kitts is actually having a candlelight vigil for those 19 souls that perished. And I know we're still awaiting the news on Mr. Elliott.
yes,
And now we're gonna have to add Earl Clark, a stalwart in politics,
correct,
to that list.
correct.
Goodness.
Yes, it's quite a week, and
It's been a week.
I said to myself last December going into the new year, I'm not the best dancer, and I said, I made a little thing. I posted it on my Facebook, that I have to learn to dance because, in life, life gives you sometimes it's like a dance floor. You have to go with the beat. Sometimes you know the song because you've been through it before. You know the lyrics, so you know how everything is
Right.
supposed to be sang. And so you have your movements already to that song, and then sometimes it changes the beat. Sometimes the beat gets faster without you even realizing, and then you have to change up your movement, and then sometimes it gets slower, and then you have to change up your movement. So I posted on my Facebook, I think about January 1st, that I need to learn to dance because that is what life is. Life is like a dance.
Embrace the rhythm.
Embrace the rhythm.
I agree. And this quote couldn't have come at a better time. Thank you so much for that, Azard.
No problem. And we see here today on our federation, there will be the parliament sitting, and parliament is going, is having they're sitting in the National Assembly today at 10 a.m. and they're going to debate for a number of bills. They're going to introduce and have read for the first time a number of bills. And yesterday I was just going through the list of the bills that would be touched this morning,
Yes.
and
Can you want to repeat it for us?
yes. Let me get to it. It's quite a number of them. One of them would have been the Rastafari Rights Bill,
Wow.
Recognition Bill 2023. So it's the Rastafari Rights Recognition Bill 2023. I think that's significant. We have the Drug Prevention and Abatement of the Misuse and Abuse of Drugs Amendment Bill 2023. We have the Smoking Designated Areas Bill 2023. We have the Nevis Island Administration Civil Proceedings Bill 2023. We have the Crown Proceedings Amendment Bill 2023. We have the Whistleblowers Protection Bill 2023. And we have the Unauthorized Disclosure of Official Information Bill 2023. We also have the Proceeds of Crime Amendment Bill 2023.
Interesting list.
And for the second reading, we'll have the Nevis Island Administration Civil Proceedings Bill 2023 and the Crowd Proceedings Amendment Bill 2023. All of those would be touched this morning. Well, I don't know if all will be touched this morning. I don't know if they'll have a two-part session because these are a number of bills to be introduced.
It's quite a list. I remember when the AG announced it, he said his office told him he was being very ambitious. He was pushing it.
But remember, we spoke too, because if you look at the list, you would see that it has mention of the smokers, the prescribed areas, and we mentioned that previously that for it to be, the Minister of Tourism indicated about music festival being 420 friendly.
Right.
And then we knew just a couple months before the Attorney General being very clear in his message in Parliament about smoking in public during Carnival. And so we easily recognize that there was a law that prohibited the use of public smoke. You understand? Smoking in public places. And so we would have said that, of course, the minister, if she's going to make the music festival 420 friendly, then she ought to, with the assistance of Parliament, create legislation that would enable her so to do.
Right. We were expecting this bill though, because remember when we discussed it, we said that there was a law prohibiting it, but then this law was now saying that they would be granted permission to smoke in public, and there was nothing, well, not a law, an announcement was made for the 420 area, but there was no law granting permission. So we were kind of expecting this, and I think in the press conference that they had recently, they did mention that they were going to go to Parliament to pass a bill.
Yes, they did. And again, we were expecting it because we knew that such could not have occurred legally without any provisions being made. And again, we said that, it is for the government to do the right thing and make the necessary changes,
Yes, agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. So that should be interested.
Yes.
I'm hoping that they get through this long list of bills. I'm actually in full support with the AG in pushing them forward. I really would like them to get through them and get them passed. I feel like at times there's there's things that we want to get done, but there's a right and a wrong way
Yes.
to get things accomplished. And of course there's always the respective legislation. So hopefully they get everything passed today.
Hopefully.
And we can move on to bigger and better things.
Yes. We have also some news as it relates to regional. We know that a strong magnitude 6.6 earthquake strikes in the Caribbean Sea. So again, earthquakes again. Wednesday night in the Caribbean Sea, just off of Panama and Colombia border, the U.S. Geological Survey said there was no immediate word on whether there were any injuries or damage in the nearby areas, which are not densely populated. So here we see that there was a 6.6 magnitude earthquake.
It's just a lot happening. I saw that there was a shark attack in Turks and Caicos.
Yeah.
A 22-year-old woman was attacked in the water. This is madness.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's crazy because it's like we all know. I don't know if you look at shark season, but there's like National Geographic does this thing every year where they do like Shark Week, and they give you facts and stats about sharks, but sharks don't just attack that way.
Yes.
It must have been something that would have triggered the shark. Yes, you're in their territory, but still they don't attack just like that. They have to feel as though they're being cornered or trapped or attacked or whatever in order for them to react that way.
Yes.
So I really hope that this person recovers and that this is a one-off incident.
So, looking at some lifestyles, there has been some tips for parents and teens on social media use. So, the U.S. Surgeon General is calling for tech companies and land makers to take immediate action to protect kids and adolescents' mental health on social media. So they're saying that after years of insignificant action by both social media platforms and policy makers, parents and young people still bear most of the burden in navigating the fast-changing, often harmful world of secret algorithms, addictive apps, and extreme and inappropriate content found on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. They say tips for young people. Reach out for help.
Azard, I'm happy that you brought this up. It is a ridiculous situation, and it seems as though every time we think that we have a handle on it, it spirals out of control. So the tips that you're about to get into, I'm really hoping that we get it out and we implement them. It is said, the police in Guyana have said that the fire was started by a 19-year-old.
Wow.
And it was because the house mother, the matron of the house, the person in charge of the house, confiscated her phone because she was having inappropriate conversations with an older gentleman.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so because she couldn't have her phone to go Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, have her conversations with this guy, this was her reaction. She lit some mattresses on fire, which ended up catching on to bigger things in the school and burning down a specific area of the school that housed those 19 girls and the little boy.
You
The,
gotta
the
be
house mother lost
kidding.
her son in the fire. And again, it's all because of social media
You gotta be
and
kidding.
children feeling like they can't deal with it mentally, and that's their only way to cope, and the way that they deal with
Mm-hmm.
the situation that's going on outside, in the home, in their head. It is just tragic.
You know,
Wow.
as simple as it might sound, I mean, that's the warped entitlement that everyone has because of the instant gratification rewards that
Yes.
present day technology provide. Do you
Yeah.
know? Do you know home? When my kids go on the VOD, right, meaning video on demand, I said no, just watch the linear TV. I don't want you guys to get this instant gratification fix in your head that, oh, I want to watch Teen Titans now,
Yeah.
and I'm watching it now. No, wait for it. I said no. So, and my wife agrees with me with that. And it's as simple as that. I mean, you might not seem related to you, but think about it.
No, but
Just
I mean,
because
when
she couldn't talk to
yeah.
this person,
Yep.
that's
Well, we remember
man.
the time when we had to go to the TV at a certain time to watch the program.
And you just have to
if,
wait.
If you missed it, you missed it, you know?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And
Gone are
if your
those
parents
days.
said no, there wasn't any going back and seeing it somewhere, somebody posted somewhere, you just missed it.
You
Yeah.
just have to wait for the rerun.
And then
you know?
with that comment that you made, that added information, it is extremely saddening because the repercussions of that, just something taking away of a phone and the thought of burning a mattress, which might have been the thought of just burning a mattress, but ended up in such a tragedy where
She
we
knew
have
exactly what she was doing.
Mhm.
She said, I'm gonna burn it to bleep bleep down, right? If I don't get back my phone. The sad thing is
Oh, but did she die? She's one that
that's
died?
it. That's the sad thing. She was the first person to be rescued. So it's
Uh-oh.
a
Where did-
disturbing situation because I mean, there are a lot of issues coming out of this fire because why was the door locked? Why were there grills on the door? Why was there no fire alarm? Where was the person that locked the door? Why was the door locked from inside? Why was there not an exit? So there are a lot of issues coming out. But the one that strikes me the most is that all of this happened because she could not have access to her phone. All of this happened because she felt like she was being treated unfairly and she wanted to take action.
Okay, Candy, I have here I see the thing on Loop News.
Mhm.
I'm gonna quickly play where the Guyanese urge to be sensitive
in
on
the
social
posting. Yeah.
media.
I
Yes.
actually I actually sent it to the Guyanese Association last night because, like I said, they're having a vigil on Sunday.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we still need to be cautious about the persons affected.
Yeah. Just a quick time to have it played so people could hear.
Thank you.
All guys, to desist from self-analysis, from reviewing timeline stories of all these girls, and from analyzing the life story of all of these girls at this time. There's a time and place for everything. Let us focus our use of social media on motivational quotes, on prayers, on inspirational songs, on uplifting messages, and not an opportunity to theorize and come up with our own theories on these beautiful children's lives.
So even in that message, you have an official indicating that you must be careful on the social media, and even the posting of these girls in these events. And, it is really something else. I mean, some of the tips for young people: reach out for help. If you are someone is being negatively affected by social media, reach out to a trusted friend or adult for help.
Yes.
Create boundaries. Limit the use of phones, tablets, and computers at least 1 hour before bedtime and through the night to make sure you can get enough sleep. Keep meal times and in-person gathering device-free to help build social bonds and engage in two-way conversations with others. Connect with people in person and make unplugged interactions a daily priority. Be cautious about what you share. Personal information about you has value. Be selective in what you post and share online with whom, as it is often public and can be stored permanently. If you aren't sure if you should post something, it's usually best that you don't.
Exactly.
And I think I posted this twice in the chat, and we still haven't spoken about it, about the Surgeon General's talk about his concern for teens and what social media was doing to their mental health.
Well, this is actually based on the U.S. Surgeon General.
Yeah. I actually have, I don't know if you guys want to hear, I have I sit down here with Erin Burnett from CNN yesterday.
Oh, yes. We'll have a nice talk, yeah.
Okay, wait, let me see.
I think
a profound risk of harm. Those are the words of the U.S. Surgeon General, an unprecedented warning about kids and social media. Nearly every teenager in America uses social media, many of them spending an average of 3.5 hours every single day on social media apps and sites. But Dr. Vivek Murthy, the Surgeon General, says in his new report, there is no guarantee that social media is safe for kids of any age. And in fact, nearly all of the research points to negative impacts. Things like depression, anxiety, poor sleep, body image issues, eating disorders, low self-esteem, online bullying, and it just goes on and on. And this is not even talking about still unknown damage to the actual brain itself, a developing brain. Out front now, Dr. Vivek Murthy, he is the U.S. Surgeon General. And Dr. Murthy, I really appreciate the time. So in this report here, it's really fascinating. I hope people will go and download it. You paint a frightening picture of the reality of the detrimental effect that social media can have on young people. What surprised you the most about what you learned in this?
Well, Erin, I am really concerned. And I'm concerned as Surgeon General. I'm concerned as a doctor and as a father about the potential impact of these platforms on our kids. The whole reason, Erin, that I embarked on this effort to create this advisory for the American public is because parents all over the country have been asking me about social media. It's the single most common topic that they ask about, and they want to know, is this safe for my kids? So when we look at the data, what we found are two critical things. One is that there is not enough evidence to say that social media is in fact sufficiently safe for our kids, but we also found that there is a growing body of evidence showing that social media use is associated with harms. You mentioned earlier a key finding in our report that on average, teens are spending 3.5 hours a day on social media. That's on average. That means many kids are spending much longer than that. But the key point is that the data also shows when kids are spending more than 3 hours on average, that they face nearly double the risk, increased risk of depression and anxiety symptoms. That's really profound. And there are more concerning facets here, but what we have to understand from all of this is that it is urgent that we take action to protect our kids and to make sure that their experience on social media is safe. We've done that for other products that kids use, for medications, for cars, and we haven't asked parents to go inspect the car themselves and make sure it's safe. We've set safety standards, and we required manufacturers to implement and abide by those standards. We've got to do the same thing here.
All right, so that is the question. And you and I have talked about being parents of kids. Our kids are around the same age. And you talk about 95% of teenagers using social media, but I was amazed 40% of 8 to 12-year-olds use social media. Frankly, I was shocked by that. So when you say we need to do something about this, it has to be collective. It has to be parents agreeing. I mean, this is the whole point of it, right? Because being excluded from the social media, the child feels isolated and left out, right? Then you're on it and it causes depression and anxiety and it's online bullying. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
Well, let me just say this is an incredibly difficult situation that we have allowed parents to be put in here, where we have this technology that previous generations never had to contend with,
Right.
that fundamentally transforms how our kids see themselves, interact with other people, perceive the world, and it's rapidly evolving. And what we've asked parents to do is to somehow figure out how to manage this with their kids and keep them safe. That, in my mind, is utterly unreasonable. So that's why, while there are steps parents can take, and I'll mention what these are, we absolutely need policymakers to step up and establish safety standards and actually enforce them. We need them to ensure that the identity of kids is protected. We need them to also ensure that they are requiring companies to share their data on the health impacts of these platforms, because independent researchers tell us all the time they've requested the full access to this data, but they're not able to get it from the technology companies. So we need policymakers to take action. Tech companies certainly need to design their platforms with health and safety in mind. You know, Erin, many of these platforms are designed to maximize the amount of time people spend on them.
Right. That's the whole point, is they're trying to make you addicted to them.
What I care about, though, as Surgeon General, is primarily this health and safety of my kids on these platforms and all of our kids, and that's what we should be seeking to maximize. But there are steps, Erin, that parents can take now, and I want to mention these because it's otherwise, you know, parents can feel like, gosh, just waiting for others to take action, that feels disempowering. But today, parents can start conversations with their kids about their social media use, so you understand more about what platforms your kids are using, how they're using them, but also how they're making your kids feel. And kids also need to understand the red flags, what to look out for, that you should worry about, that you should report to an adult. Bullying, harassment. You know, worries me, Erin, that 6 out of 10 adolescent girls say that they have been contacted by a stranger on social media in ways that made them feel uncomfortable. Okay. But parents can also do one other thing. They can make sure that they are creating tech-free zones in their children's lives where we are protecting them, and particularly protecting their sleep, physical activity, and their time in person with others. This could mean saying that dinner time when you're with family is going to be a time that's tech-free. It could be mean saying that the time before you go to bed, an hour beforehand and throughout the night, is a time where we don't allow our kids to use social media. I say all of this knowing that all of these changes can be challenging. It's hard to take these phones and these devices and social media away from our kids, but this is why I think it's also important for us as parents to help one another, to partner with each other and do this together, because there is strength in numbers here, and we've got to be there for each other.
Well, there certainly is. I mean, the whole definition of social and the contagion you see across social networks and all of it. So thank you very much for giving voice to it, because it connects with me, and I can imagine just countless others who are watching. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there you have it. And you know what's interesting? It's 8:32, and as I told you guys, we have no Point FM today with Vernon Springer. So want to apologize to our listeners. Vernon Springer will not be on today. But I find it interesting that all of these tech CEOs and so on, founders, none of them allow their kids to use social media. Isn't that interesting?
Quite interesting.
Candy, you there? I saw her mouth.
Here we are.
I saw your mouth move and I didn't hear anything.
Azard can't see me.
I can't see her. I'm wondering why.
No, I put it on mute just so that my background noise wouldn't interrupt what you were playing.
Okay.
But it's amazing that they've been putting out these warnings all the time and saying this and saying that, and still we're not heeding the warnings. Right? You know, the article that Azard was reading yesterday, one of the just a few minutes ago, it said, don't keep harassment or abuse a secret. Reach out to at least one person you trust, such as a close friend, family member, counselor, or teacher, who can give you the help and support you deserve. And it says, visit stopcyberbullying.gov for tips on how to report cyberbullying. And it's crazy, because this is something that has been happening a lot. We've seen persons even commit suicide over cyberbullying. And again, there's nothing being done, seriously, I should say, nothing seriously being done to curb it. Some parents, they don't even put on parental control. Some of them can't even control the children and the use of the phone. And we know in the Caribbean, children do a lot of things to get top up on the phone. A lot of the young girls are put in precarious situations just because they want credit on the phone so that they can do interact with their friends or do whatever it is they need to do on the phones.
Yes,
So
precisely. It's really
it's
sad.
overwhelming.
It is. And look at the situation in Guyana where you
Yeah.
indicated that the young girl, all it is that, she was deprived of her cell phone for a time, and look what that resulted in.
Completely
And that
lost it.
shows
Yeah.
that shows the effect of social media, the addiction to social media. That if you can have this device for some time, that you have children, teenagers who are so addicted that they will cause harm to not only themselves but to others.
And to a point that someone made, I think it was either Aaron or one of you. I think it was Aaron made a point about previous generations not having access to that stuff. Could you imagine? Could you imagine us, for example, back in the Sega Genesis days, if we were told, well, you can't have your video game or you can't have your Wii or whatever.
Right.
We're gonna set the mattress on fire just because our parents decided no, that's enough. That's enough playing with that video game.
Right. Unplug for the day.
Yeah, we might have just sulked and pouted for a bit, and we would have gotten over it. But no, because of the immense power of that kind of immersion, that kind of remote immersion with social media, everything has just gone to dogs now.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You guys want to take a call? Let's take a call. Caller, you're on the air.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Good morning.
Greetings, Island T. Yeah, there is some sad manifestation in the earth, me see a schoolgirl in she uniform sit down on a step just below Monkey bus stop, which she book across her face and I notice she just into something. So me creep up behind her, and when me look on what she look on in she uniform, she look on what the thing them name? Pan?
Oh wow.
Wow.
In she uniform. And me say, what? What's supposed to be our servants has become our master. And we hear the word addiction a while ago, and it's a fitting word, addiction. It's terrible. Come off of that little bit. I heard a news what they say between 75% and 90%, between 75 and 90% of the murders is gun related in the Caribbean, is gun related. And let us remind ourselves that we don't manufacture guns in the region, And I don't know why we cannot collectively approach them and those. One time they used to say, they find any Jamaica ganja in the border, the tax Jamaica. Yeah? Why we can't collectively tell them and those that we can charge them for the guns where they manufacture and reach in every region and kill off one another? Why we can't do that? Why we can't take stand towards these things here? We don't make gun. One time they used to make some gun in Jamaica, people use them called Bucky out of old bicycle parts. But then that didn't happen now. Why we can't reach them kind of collective stand there? People can use machete and knife and so on kill, but gun is the thing right now. And there is no collective stand in the region towards these things here. No collective stand. One or two might just speak out. But there's no collective stand. Just look out, there's no collective stand with so many other things. Give thanks for the information so far. We'll continue listening. And thanks for taking the call, Esther.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Blessed love.
Blessed love. Wow.
Yeah, man.
And it's this thing is getting more and more ridiculous. I know Vernon isn't in today, but there were a couple articles about Antigua that I actually did want to touch, because someone sent me a news clip yesterday, but I couldn't verify it. So Antigua had recorded its first murder victim on the 23rd, I think it was, or maybe it would have been the 22nd. It was a 25-year-old guy. His name was Rudy Shamarli. And I think he was of Syrian heritage. And so I don't know if it's a prank, I don't know if it's real, but someone purporting to be of Syrian background sent out a message threatening the government of Antigua that they would pay for the death of this guy. And it was broad daylight. He was in a pick and mix mart 1 p.m. on Monday. So Monday would have been the 23rd. And there was a robbery, and the person shot this young man, this 25-year-old young man. And so based on that, there was this message going around saying that the Syrian Brotherhood were going to take action for the death of one of their own. But I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't verify the origin. I don't, it looked to me very suspicious. And so I didn't even share it with you guys. But
if true, that's kind of worrying, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's insane. It says Syrian men issue heroin to Antigua. And it is actually on Antigua.news. And they were saying, Allah will avenge our brother's death. Right? And it's an email that they sent out saying Syria strong. And it said, may Allah have mercy on these criminals in Antigua.
Yes.
And the letter says, you will be dealt with severely by higher forces in ways which you cannot begin to imagine. The letter ended by warning Antiguans that all that obeah and science song you listen, you will see how real it can get. But even the news report says our newsroom could not authenticate the letter.
Wow.
But it just goes to show you the level things have escalated to in our region. You know, and again, comes back to gun violence. I just don't understand. And, you know, the caller just said something that's interesting. He said, we don't make guns in this region. And whenever guns were found, weed or ganja or marijuana, whatever they want to term it as, was found, they would tax Jamaica. So maybe we should start taxing the countries where these guns are coming from.
Exactly. We don't make guns. It's crazy to me.
He might be onto something.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Okay, let's take a quick break. Get some commercials out of the way, and then we're gonna come back. I see the phones are going here. So, callers, when we come back, we are gonna take your calls. And I also wanted to. I don't know if I sent you that thing on bleaching. That Vice Media, Vice Media did a thing on bleaching. Azard actually wanted to touch it as well. Okay, so we'll take a quick break and then come back.
Awesome.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastille from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillybang, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant. Them boy don't got nobody. Grandmasters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akai You Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
TDC for service, TDC TDC for quality. TDC your company. TDC for service. TDC for quality. TDC your company. Together we succeed. Building a strong community. Pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Well, it's 8:30, 8:45, and we are back. It's just me and Candy here on the Island T. Azard had to step up. Candy, we're gonna go back to the phones. Yeah, let's go back to the phone line. Someone is calling. Caller, go right ahead. You're on. You're on.
Good morning, the greats.
Hey, what's up? Just Candy.
I'm cool, man. Yeah, and Candy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good, man. I'm good, but you know, it's the news make some part of my brain sad.
I know.
Well, I hope you are not drinking any hot tea in this kind of hot climate. Drink iced tea.
Yeah, I'm a big
as long
iced
as
tea.
it's tea, right?
Yeah?
I'm a big iced tea fan myself. So
Okay, I seen your ice. Now I want to agree wholeheartedly with the caller there before me, Ross Eloy. He's so correct. But I'm gonna say this here: this social media thing, you all use an adjective there in your comments. The addiction with the social media behavior. Mr. Bratcher said once, when they first brought television to the country, he used to call it the idiot box. And he said that television, viewing of that television, is going to teach a lot of people a lot of things. You're going to teach people good things and bad things. But you wish that the bad could be sorted out and leave the good. Now, you see what happened to these people here who want to be 5 hours on the telephone? You hear what Eloy say? He creep up behind the school girl in a uniform and what she was looking at. And a lot of that going on around the place. And they're going on so because they have too many rights. When all the people or parents catch them in these acts, even though they see them attracted to go to it and they talk to them, they want to fire back at parents. Yes. This thing with rights and my right and you violating my rights, that they're causing a lot of destruction to our society. And anywhere you have progress, look out for destruction behind that. It is too sad that we have to reach there. And I hope that all who in a position to correct, whether younger than them or older than them, they will do it. And they will not condone wrong. God bless our country. And all those people who are intended to do wrong and bad, change your all mind right now. Done with that. And we should be able to come together and file a case against those guns manufacturers. Like I said before, cigarette makers, they always have on the box warning, the Surgeon General warned, cigarette smoking is dangerous. They see that, but then the smokers still sue the cigarette manufacturers and win. But why can't we come together and sue the gun manufacturers and win? And those who are sending out the guns out of the country, I would not say the government, because the government wouldn't do it. It's culprits are doing it. Anyway, give thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
He highlighted some very important points there. It's the addiction.
Yeah.
And what can we do about it? I feel like this generation, they have a sense of entitlement that I've not seen before. Like he said, you know, they feel they have the right to this and the right to that, and it's because this right is infringed that they need to lash out, and that's exactly what's been going on.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's been going on.
Okay.
My
So,
goodness.
hey, we have a call. Caller, go right ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hi, what's up?
Good morning.
Are you hearing me?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing
Yes,
you.
we are. Good morning.
Hello, we're hearing you.
Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
I am told that with regard to the homicide in Antigua, the police have a 16-year-old boy in custody, assisting them with information on the incident. A 16-year-old boy. There have been a lot of violent events in Antigua recently. Surprisingly and pleasantly so, just one homicide for the year recorded, but a number of very, very brutal incidents and gun-related robberies and so.
Right.
And there's a high level of concern over there. I think Vernon would confirm that. And with regard to the cyber stuff, the social media and that kind of thing, we're going to need, in my opinion, some very firm and even drastic measures, which could cause some people to be quite upset and angry. But if you don't bell the cat now, it's going to be impossible to manage society within the next 10 to 20 years. Impossible. People cannot just do as they like. And over the last 30 years or so, people have been miseducated with regard to their freedoms and their responsibilities. A lot of us have interpreted our freedoms to be absolute, not realizing that mine ends where yours begins.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole attitude of entitlement and dependency, you heard the Prime Minister say yesterday and before that social safety programs add up to $250 million a year in this little country. That is a significant chunk of the annual budget. And that is a reflection of less and less people producing for more and more. And a lot of those who are on the receiving end of the charity, if you will, are young, able-bodied people.
Yes.
So there's an attitudinal problem, of course. There's an administrative and economic problem as well, because jobs need to be created for these people. And the education system must be shaped so that it can provide a body of people who are relevantly educated in the hard and soft skills. So it is a very complex problem, a problem that will not be fixed unless you have, in my view, a broad-based consultation and agreement on the way forward, and people are willing to make sacrifices, because it is the fighting in the schools, the brutishness, the superficiality, instant gratification, as Jamsa, I think, used the term a while ago. We are in a crisis.
Yes.
Not to mention, I heard Culture call in and speak about the possibility of suing the gun makers. Well, what about the food makers who are selling us death through our mouths? Of course, that's not realistic. It is for us to become more alert, more aware, more responsible. And we're not going in that direction. The institutions are not geared up for that. You have people coming out of school and going to teach people's children.
Yes.
In Finland, you can't teach a child unless you have a master's degree in education. And the teachers in Finland get the same pay as the doctors in the public sector. So we are way, way, way behind in all of these things. And distracted by the latest fete, the wet fete, the dry fete, the white fete, the black fete, who is the latest in the NBA, and all of these things that can't put food on our tables and can't pave the way forward for future generations. Not that we shouldn't be enjoying these distractions, but the distraction has become the main attraction in life. which is living in the moment and regardless of the consequences. That's not sustainable.
All play
Sorry
no
to make
work.
such a long speech, but
No problem.
I feel strongly about it, you know?
Yes. Yes, I was
Thank
saying.
you.
I was saying to your point, all play and no work. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
thank you so much for your contribution. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say all play and no work, because there's some
No,
positivity.
meaning what Dwyer was saying is that there should be balance. Nobody's saying you can
It should
be
be balanced,
into the
because
fets
social
and
media
stuff.
can be used for good.
Yeah.
But I think in all things, moderation. So yes, I agree with quite a bit that he just said. It should be monitored, especially at a certain age, and everything in moderation. This is why we have centers where you can go and deal with addiction, alcohol, and now social media is one of them. But I feel like parents are not getting a good grip and a firm enough handle on it, because in some instances, how can you curb it? How can you cut back on the use? How can you limit the use when maybe you're at work? They're getting access to it in schools. They can go into stores and get access to it. So how do you curb it? And so it needs to become a village. It cannot be a one-off thing.
Yeah. Let's take another call. Caller, you're on Island T. Go right ahead.
Yes. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
We often think of each generation as being revolutionary. And to some extent, that's true. The difference is, I think, in past revolutionary generations, it was always about the collective, race relations, the struggle in Africa, the anti-colonialist struggle in Africa. Those big ticket things, which kind of made a moral argument for change, okay? Nowadays, to me, it seems as if we're undergoing another revolution, but this time it's about the individual. So everybody, each individual, have a cause, they feel they're being wronged, and so they respond, right? And the thing about that is that you have it easily reverts to bullying, and bullying anywhere is bad. Okay, don't care where it happens or how it happens. It could be on social media, it could be on the any kind of media that you talk about. But what compounds the problem, I think, is a failure of leadership. I don't know if you saw the video of what happened between the Anguillan MPs in Anguilla recently, right? Where they almost resorted to blows. And don't talk about expletives, etc., that accompanied it. And we all know example set, example followed.
Right.
And when you have it at that level, what else would you expect? You expect that to filter down throughout the society, right? And so I don't know how you come to grips with that when it becomes everybody doing it, Everybody is in everybody else's face. And everybody feels they must respond, and respond in a more violent way. Okay, and this is the result of all of that. So I don't know. Somehow we got to get back to basics, so to speak. And people would tell you that, well, what basics? You always had altercations in the past as well. The thing is, the scale is different.
Yes.
Okay, and the consequences are different. Right? It's magnified now. And so we got to pull back. You know, that's the bottom line. Everybody have to pull back. From leaders down, everybody just have to pull back, get more control, exercise more self-control, and try to stem this. Because otherwise, it's going to become a free-for-all where anything and everything goes, and that seems to be heading towards a declining society, right? Which is what we should be trying hard to avoid, the kind of decadence and so on that you know the world seems to be heading toward. But it's at all levels, and you know, so we must have responses at all levels to try to stem this. Okay, then.
Yes, great Wayne as usual.
Thank you so much for that. I like the use of the phrase "pull back."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a time for us to stop, analyze, and then move forward. Even the president of Guyana just had to issue a warning. I mean, 20 lives were lost, and people on social media still carrying on, pulling down the young lady that lit the fire. Yes, they're upset. Pulling down the gentleman she's supposedly talking to. I mean, there have been protests in Guyana. They're pulling down the matron. Gosh, pull back. Analyze the situation, and then let us move forward. Everything does not have to go to social media, and that is the problem we have.
Yes.
As soon as you're angry, you put up a WhatsApp status, or you go to Twitter.
Yeah. And
look at what he just pointed out with the Anguillan member of parliament.
Tell me about that, because I
It's
don't...
making the rounds on social media. I got it on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
You know, we need to stop and analyze and then move forward, because something has to give. It's not getting better. Talk about the violence in school. That is something that has been happening forever in the US, and now it's come down to the Caribbean, and it's on a different proportion.
Yeah.
They're taking machetes and cutlasses to school. What is going on?
Yeah, what's up with that? 901, let's take another call. Caller, you're on the air. You're on Island T. Go right ahead.
Yes, good morning. How are you and
hey, we're
your
good.
co-host doing? How you and your co-host doing today?
Yeah.
Good, thanks.
She's good. I'm good.
Yeah, man. I like this topic here that you guys are on today. I've listened to the last 3 callers, and they made some great contributions. They got some good points. You know, this type of soft topic here is great discussion, different than the regular politicking. But for me, like St. Kitts and Nevis is such a small place. You know, I believe it's time that we focus on trying to get the Federation up to speed in terms of being advanced, because, you know, things is changing and the world is changing, society is changing, but, you know, we got to concentrate on keeping like things like the crime down. You know, a lot of this social, you know, implications is what we got to start concentrating on. But the example has got to be set from the top. And one of your callers just a while ago, you know, I hear him ask the hard question on a program about the intangibles, you know, transparency and integrity in public life and stuff like that. I noticed that this government has gone in and they're not passing these bills, like, you know, readily enough to me. Those bills are sometimes they're needed so that they can set the example from the top. Because if we want the society to go in a certain direction, we have to put some of those things in place. But what I think being that St. Kitts and Nevis is so small, they should use this small size to their advantage. And, you know, St. Kitts and Nevis could be leading, you know, the OES states in certain areas, you know, like corruption and stuff like that. They could be leading in them areas and technology as well. It's a small population, and the populace needs to get advanced and be caught up to the rest of the world instead of lagging behind. But as far as the incident in the Anguilla Parliament, like we see, these incidents are now starting to happen in the top officials in government. There was an incident in Antigua as well recently. So where is this heading? And if those persons at the top are not setting the example, without a doubt, it's going to filter down to the society, like the previous caller said. From the top, it's going to affect the bottom. But we'll see where things goes with these bills today. I'm going to be listening. I like these bills that they're going to table today, and we're going to see, what's going to happen from this session today, and then we go forward from here. But thanks a lot, man. You guys have a good day.
Thank you for your contribution.
Yes,
I agree. I am definitely, that's what I started off saying. I am definitely behind the AG. I hope he gets these bills passed today. There are some important bills. And I think it will only be for the better once they get passed. So definitely supporting him on that. Good luck today.
Yeah.
But he's right. It's happening in Parliament, it's happening outside of Parliament, and there's an old saying, a fish stinks from the head. I'm happy that the PM called it out. I'm happy that the president of Guyana called it out. We need to start paying attention to these things because they grow, they fester, and they become worse.
Yeah. Okay, so let's throw another grenade in the... It's not really a grenade, but you know what I mean. Let's throw another. I want to play this
another log on the fire.
Yes, yeah, that's a better one. Another log in the fire. Vice, they're a very very popular online journalist group.
Yes.
They did a documentary on bleaching.
You have the audio?
Jamaica. Yeah, I'm gonna play it now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, here we go.
So when you bleach, America look more nicer, look more sexier, and look more cuter than you was.
If you ask anybody why they bleach, they will never give you a complete reason why they bleach. You understand? As long as it's spelled Fashion, they are into it. Don't care how dangerous it is. Don't care about the education. Anything that we Jamaicans go and see the Americans do, we take it back here.
Do you bleach?
Yeah.
Yeah? When did you start?
I'm start about 2 years about now.
It's bad for your skin?
It's not bad for my skin. I don't know anybody else. It's not bad for my skin.
I've been interviewing people all week about fashion in Jamaica. And everyone I ask, what's fashionable in Jamaica right now, they tell me to bleach your skin.
Peer pressure. Because your friends and some icons do it, so they follow. Some icons do it, like for example, Vice Starter.
Some people think that to be brown is pretty and that black is not beautiful. But black is beautiful. Look at this.
We need to look into ourselves more and accept who we are. Because when you're doing those things, you're taking away the true beauty that God gave you when He decided to place you on earth.
I was bleaching from I was like 14, 15.
Do people tell you that you shouldn't do it, it's dangerous for your health?
Yeah, they always say that.
Because it gets into the pigment and destroys your skin.
And who are the people that say that?
Person that doesn't
do
it.
Okay.
But some people, they want to come faster than use bleach that they used to wash clothes and stuff.
That's how I clean my bath.
Yeah.
Yes, it burns. But just because it's a fashion, everybody still use it.
Do you think also the popularity of having lighter skin comes from the media?
Some people say they want to look like Beyonce or what you call that, Nicki Minaj. I want to look like Nicki Minaj.
So yeah, that's just a little taste of the dysfunction plaguing. Well, another facet of the dysfunction facing Africans.
This bleaching thing goes
throughout
further back than
the
we
diaspora.
even know.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a mental issue. Quite personally, I think, and from what I've seen, it is you not being happy with who you are, you not liking this color skin that you were born with, and because you're not happy, you're now taken to bleaching to look like somebody else that you think is gonna make you be accepted and it's gonna make you happy. and we saw Spice did a whole video, and it was mind blowing. I think when she did it, she started out pretending like she was bleaching, and nobody knew that it was going to, morph into a video. And everybody was like so shocked. Oh my God, you're so black and beautiful. Your skin is perfect. Why are you doing this? And, she came out singing the song Hypocrisy. So it's something it's been ongoing. It stems from you not being happy with yourself.
And I love me some Spice, so let me tell you. Spice over Shenseea any day.
But you're actually breaking down the outer layer of your skin.
Yes.
How can you possibly think that this is healthy, that this is acceptable? So you're now tearing away that outer layer of your skin. It's almost as if you're peeling off the top layer of your skin and then going into the sun, and you're thinking that that's going to be okay. It's going to be painful. And
Yes.
I've seen the creams. I've smelled them. They smell horrible. So I don't even understand
Yes.
why it's attractive to persons. But again, it stems from something deeper.
Yes, it does. Man, let's take a call. Alan T, you're on.
Hey, good morning, as black as can be.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, as black as being can enjoy it. Proud of myself. Now, I lived in Jamaica for 2 years, on campus. They like tall hair and brown skin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the women have to compete now for men's attention. I mean, you even hear it here. I want a brown skin and a red skin, by people who are what I call influencers. It's on the radio stations. I just want a brown skin, and now you look down and you see skin very dark. You wonder who's going to want this.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pushed into it, and our men are partly to blame. If you have male influencers who keep harping that they want a brown skin and a red skin, when all around them are black skin, what do you expect the women to do? You see what I mean?
It's true, but
Some
it's
walk into it
not even
blindly,
in
but
Jamaica
others-
alone.
Eh?
It's not even in Jamaica alone. It's in India. It's in Africa. Indians, they have a whole caste system and a color system.
I know. I went there, so I saw them.
Yeah.
I saw
The
some
darker ones are looked down upon,
black
the Madras
Indians. So that's what I'm saying. If the darkness of your complexion puts you in a lower position and you aspire to move up, you're going to be tempted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But our leaders too, also reinforce the idea when they also go out and seek women with lighter skin or white skin over the women that they grew up with and even once loved. So that you feel, well, there's no way to get up or get ahead. You go into offices, you look around the civil service. In so many places you see women who are equally capable like you being promoted ahead of you. And I recall one tourism minister when asked why was he putting these white or light-skinned people in positions in the tourism authority and UDC, remarked that the tourists, like to communicate with people of their complexion. What? In a country of 98% black people. What do you think about that? How does that end up making you feel?
Well, I'm glad I never heard that before, because that's insane.
Well, not only I heard it. I could call the name, but
I've actually heard that before. I've actually heard that before too.
Don't.
I've been told that.
Live. And I saw it. Because before that time, all the tourism ministers were black. And in 1995, they decided that they wanted somebody who had the same complexion as the visitors. After that, it was all downhill. If you look to the different agencies, black people were there qualified and equipped, but there was always somebody brought in with a lighter complexion. What is the complexion of the present tourism authority man?
Well, he's from Bahamas. He looks. Well,
I didn't ask that as a complexion.
Well, he's light skinned.
Actually, that has been the thing. So we have people who work there, whatever, but they feel, well, if you're black skin and you go out to promote tourism, that's not true. So if our leaders have the same mindset, they love a lighter color woman, they give the black women children, but they're married to somebody who they could have on the arm. So when they travel, if they're dark, their wife is fair. So the poor woman, black woman at the end of the ladder, trying to compete, harm themselves. And the same thing in St. Kitts. When they want a carnival queen, it used to be worse when it started first, you know. No black person could enter. No black person. You have to be white or mixed, high-class black. And every now and again you see it in competitions. People with lesser talents but with lighter skin are crowned over the black contestant. So we do it psychological damage to ourselves. So it would need a reversing
but
of the mindset.
But we must remember
our leaders and people in authority.
But we must remember
They
where
have got to love their own color.
but we have to remember where it came from. We didn't initiate that kind of thinking in ourselves. I know there's blame to go around because we perpetuate it to some degree, but not to some degree, to a big degree. But it didn't start with us. It started with the colonizers.
I know, but when they left and we put our people in, there was no change. All right then.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Miss Henry.
Okay.
It is a cleansing of the mind. It starts with self-love. And I'll tell you this. In the period where I grew up, there weren't anything like black dolls. And I remember when my sisters were growing up, my grandmother and my parents made it a point to get us black dolls. It was so that you could see yourself in whatever it is you were playing with. So they're black Barbies, they're black baby dolls.
Yeah.
And I have an aunt, my uncle's wife. She refused to buy any doll for her kids that was not black. And it was so that they could relate. And now I'm not saying this to be racist or anything, but you have to start inculcating that self-love from a very young age. Tell your daughter that her hair is beautiful, because we have this belief that there's good hair and bad hair. All healthy hair is good hair. Let them know that this color is beautiful, that it's acceptable, that you are beautiful the way you are, because all of this is strengthening their mind.
Yes.
It's teaching them to accept themselves.
Can you have a caller?
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead,
Hello,
call.
good morning.
Good morning, all.
Oh, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope all is well.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. How are you?
Miss Candy, we too need to reach to the point in our lives when we have to speak on matters concerning us, that we don't always come up with the excuse. Right? It doesn't speak well because it seems like it defeats the whole purpose. If we are going to talk to our children about how they look, their complexion, their hair, don't bring in nothing about being racist. Not that I am being racist. No. That has no place there. That has nothing to do with racism. That's not how racism is. Right? You're talking to your child about the way he or she was made. Right? We are the original. That is not being racist to tell the child to believe and love him or herself. And there is nothing that needs to be changed about how he or she looks. Because while we are doing this, we are not telling our children that They on the other side. They are looking at us and wish they are us. We are not seeing this, you know. Look at what they're doing in the sun every day. In this tanning sauna, what they call it. You see them take all of these operations to get big behind, thick thighs, buttocks in their lips. Some of them have even gone to change their nose to widen it at the base to have a look like us. And we are not looking at this. They don't say, oh, that is racism or they want to look different. No. When they don't do all of that, they put themselves out there like they were born with it. So who were originally of that? It's as if you don't exist. Look at what is happening. And to our elder sister about the persons that they put in front in the tourism is that it's not only that, you know. Look at the what they call it, it's like the literature or the tourist guidebook or whatever. Go through it. Anybody has ever gone through it? When they went through it, haven't they felt, didn't righteous indignation rise up in them? Because when you go through that book, you think that this country that they're talking about is one of those Nordic countries. You think it's one of those European Slavic countries.
I think they started making an effort to slip in some different images. I know exactly what you mean.
The effort is not good enough and it's not fast enough. This is an insult to us. Because when they come here and they see something different, what are we doing? And you mentioned something that this bleaching is a mentality. It's not only a mentality. I think the elder sister touched on some, right? Sometimes it's pressure. Because just a few years in the recent past, a lot of our dark skin couldn't go in certain banks to work. They couldn't wear their natural hair. Even today, in some of the jobs that they have still, men can't even wear their natural hair. Like Samson did. They have to cut it off. Well, okay, if there are reasons for safety and so on, I could understand, but they shouldn't be told to cut their hair because they feel like they should not, because somebody outside don't like to see it because they're threatened by the natural hair. And another again, the men. It happens a lot in Jamaica. This is why some of the women are forced to bleach their skin. Because the men, well, I like to say males because they're not really men, right? They have something against the darker skinned women. Some of them say, well, oh, they don't want their child to look like Midnight. If you see the number of these black males now who are in relationship with women of a paler, because they are not lighter to me and they are not higher, the color ain't no higher.
You know,
If
there's
you
some
don't
men
have
that
any
are actually
color-
bleaching too.
Sorry?
There's some men that are actually bleaching too. I was so shocked when I found out.
Yes, they are. They are. And some of them, they do this because they want to be seen and they want to be considered acceptable in the eyes of these other women. What is happening to us? We have no leadership. We have no leadership. So we are open up for the slaughter. We have no leadership. None whatsoever. We have none. You understand? And this is what is really happening. And again, some of these same males, I call them males, I can't say men, a lot of them who have the locks on the head, and they like to sport this thing about consciousness, black consciousness, and back to Africa. But look at their partner. What is this saying? You're speaking on the one hand about black consciousness and Africa this and Africa that. But at the same time, your partner is one of the same ones who are oppressing you. So what are you saying to the young guys when they see this? What are you saying to the young ladies? You're telling them they are not worthy. They ain't up to your standard or whatever. It's a whole mess. And then society goes around, and if you have somebody like me who is coming out and going to speak and say, well, this doesn't really look good. They want to put all kinds of labels on me, and then people talking about, oh, this is freedom of choice and freedom of that and all of these sort of things. It's not working for the thing. You never see anybody in any other country, especially them who, what they call, quote unquote, in high positions. You have never seen any one of them take unto themselves a wife of a dark hue. That beautiful, original, God-created hue. You don't see them do it. And we need to stop this thing about this one drop of blood. Black blood make that person black. We are the ones who are perpetuating this system, and we need to stop. These people who are of mixed heritage, they are mixed. They are not black because they do not identify with the black side. They're only black because it's convenient for them because the other side is not accepting them. But they don't see themselves as quote-unquote black. We need to stop promoting these kinds of relationships. And then we turn around and we cry. We cry. So it's not only just the mentality, it's pressure. And finally, I remember I read something about this lady in Brazil. She was a dark, beautiful woman, educated, had the qualification. But the thing about it is, she was of age and she wanted a partner. And she just couldn't get any. She just couldn't get any because the black men don't want her. And you see, poverty, I always feel like, right, if a lot of our people were not impoverished, they would not do some of these things. Some people bleach their skin because of poverty, impoverishment, just to get the job, just to be in relationship with somebody and so on. It's a lot of factors that are in playing against us, And so she has her qualification, she has her job, but she couldn't get anybody. And the woman was going mad because her own black men don't want her, and all of them were running after the paler skin. That's why you see Brazil has a high percentage of mixing down there. And right now here, there is a lot of racial problem. Because now even these mixed ones, many of them do not relate to the darker side because the pressure is on them now, like they're there to, it's like a tug of war. It's like they have been having them to choose. But when I did history in school, I remember they had the triangle, and they had on top, it was occupied by the colonists, what they call the so-called white. In the middle, you had the mulattoes or the mix, and to the base, the majority, the blacks. And what we were told in history, what I learned is that these paler skinned ones created this race in between there to act as a buffer between the majority blacks and them. So you're going to always have problems. And I always say, I make no qualms, and I'm going to say, I don't care who get upset. The problem of the black race right now here is the mixing. You are going to always have problem because we cannot move anywhere. When you start to move further, somebody behind the thing, sabotaging, undermining, and working against you. Check it in this country, and you're going to see how what they call it, how prominent, is the other word I could use? Check it in this country, and you're going to see how prominent it is in this country. So don't think it's gone away. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back with some more chat, with some more Island Tea with me and Candy Face Candy.
Just a face today.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Be a music festival VIP with Skelly. From May 15th to June 16th, clear your bill or make a payment of $500 or more on your arrears and stand a chance to win a VIP entry to the St. Kitts Music Festival. Skellig is giving away 2 VIP tickets for each night. In addition,
one ultimate winner will win transportation to the festival
and a Pamper Me package of up to $200, which can include hair, makeup, massage, manicure, or a pedicure. Drawing will be held on June 19th.
Customers should not be in arrears for more than 3 months. Terms and conditions apply.
Skellig, powering the community.
Apply online now for the NHC New Modern Smart Homes. The application process is digital. Sign up for a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom home at apply.nhc.kn. Create your unique ID and never have to reapply. Did you hear that? Never ever have to reapply. It's safe, secure, and saves time. No more paperwork. Sign up and free up your time by applying online at apply.nhc.kn. Contact us at 466-4701 for more information. NHC, raising standards.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Pump it up with Quicks. One pump and you're pumping. Dishes done, you're smiling. Pump it up with Quicks. Keep pumping. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. I don't want a dirty sink. Keep pumping up with Quicks now. Clean that sink. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. Pump it up.
Fruta, taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta. Drink the real Fruta. Your favorite real Fruta. The natural taste is Fruta. Fruta.
Your favorite fruit has got a new skin with real juice within. Drink the real Fruta. Enjoy the real joy.
Taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day is Fruta.
Fruta, juiced right.
And we are back on Island T.
Yes,
got
and just for those persons who might be confused, we are actually discussing bleaching, and it's not something to do with a race. It is not something to do with persons being racist. I just want us to stay on topic. I want us to focus on the topic at hand. This bleaching scourge, and I want to call it a scourge because it's not something that affects just Jamaicans. I mean, the clip that we played was addressing the popularity of it in Jamaica, but like I mentioned, it is also very popular in India. It is very popular in Africa. It's not something to do with a race. It is something to do with a mentality. You know, in India, persons of different castes and different complexions face certain backlash. I saw a documentary where, you know, they were saying that Indian women with darker complexions, they take longer to get married. And you know, in India, the marriages are arranged. And those women take a bit longer to get off the shelf or get off the market, if you want to, you know, to put it in slang, because of their complexion.
Let's take a call.
It's not something that's affecting Jamaica only. It's a worldwide issue. And I just want us to focus on that because it's not a racist topic.
Okay, let's take this call. Caller, go right ahead. You're on.
Yes, bless everyone.
Good morning.
They always try to discriminate anything dark or black. You know, they say living in darkness, so come in the light. Remember again, it's only dark clouds being raining, and you see I and I, they call me Tiger Ass. Give me all the black woman. Me not like woman clear tall, trust me. Because you see dark woman, they carry much more heat, and them is the sweetest. So big up all the black woman. Love, man. Respect.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's a mentality, and just to touch a little bit on what the caller said, people always think that the darker you are, it's a scourge, it's a sin, it's a bad thing, and this stemmed from the days of slavery. And I would have mentioned earlier, when I was a child growing up, yes, they might have had dark dolls, but where I grew up and the accessibility to those dolls, it wasn't readily available. I remember the first dark doll that I got, the first black doll that I got, I was, I think, 11. I had already started outgrowing dolls.
Okay.
But my grandparents and my parents made
Okay.
a point of getting darker skinned dolls for my sisters. They
Okay.
had the dark Barbies.
Okay, we have
Because
phones.
it's something that you have to build within your child from a very young age to love what they are seeing in the
Yeah.
mirror, like to love themselves.
Okay, Candy, let's we have phones going crazy here. Let's take another call.
Oh.
Caller,
Yeah, hello.
Island T, you're on. Go ahead.
Listening to this debate, it ain't so right, yeah. You see all the color fusion is miseducation. If you getting into the melanin and that you're talking about the bleaching and anything, actually, let me say this. The most bleaching women in the world are not African women. It's Asian women and Jewish women. Go look it up. Do your research. But to go into this black thing and this, what you should be doing rather is trying to educate people about the wonders of melanin, why they are made up that way, why the hair is different to the strange here and here, like you say. Knowledge is power. You are like fitting into a breakdown thing, like pushing the bleaching and the woman. Educate the people. All you need to change the thing, the dialogue all you got in. It's like people sorry for themselves. Like what?
Okay.
I mean, no.
Okay, caller.
Educate people. Let the people understand the glory of melanin. Make them know why Jesus, then, since they got church, could only be a melanin person. And maybe if you lessen the blackness, because that is the curse, the word, the hypnotic word that keep us people, African people, in a kind of place is the black. We are not black. We are melanin blessed. We are the first world people. We are different. We are not black. Black is color without heritage or antiquity. We are not black. We are the people from Akebulan. Have a good day.
Have a good
Thank you
day.
for your contribution.
Yeah. The callers are passionate about this stuff. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you know Vibes Cartel actually bleaches. And you know what really shocked me about that? I mean, Vibes Cartel he's a bright guy. And if he can fall victim to that kind of brainwashing where he thinks that he's better because he's lighter skinned. I mean, who can't fall? Because a lot of people listen to dancehall. They might not know. Vibes Cartel is a very, very bright guy. He's a sharp guy.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
Let's take some more calls.
education or anything like that.
Caller, go right ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm listening to y'all, and it's really a mindset. Because, if you listen to the interview, and this is not the first interview that I heard with Jamaicans about bleaching, they always say that when you're lighter, when you're browning, you're prettier. And to me, the bleach don't help some of them, and they look weird. But to them, the changing of their complexion, the lighter complexion to them, that they have a mindset that they're prettier with it. And then a lot of them, I remember watching a documentary where they were on the street braiding hair. And one of the lady that were interviewing the young lady, she said, if you look over at the dark-skinned lady that's braiding hair, she's not going to get much customer. But the one that bleach, she going to get more customer. I mean, imagine, I want my hair braid. I don't care what complexion you be. It makes no sense, but it's a mindset. And
mental, yeah.
The young lady talked about playing with the black dolls. I remember when I was when I was young, I went to the store. My dad, we went to the store, and I pick up a doll because everybody knows. I grew up in St. Kitts. Back in those days, I know nothing about racism. To me, racism growing up back in the days, white people came to thinking to us they were just people.
Yes.
They were just people. We didn't look at it as color. Racism was not a thought in my head. We didn't know nothing about it. But when I came up to America, my father, when I pick up a doll, he said, no, get the black doll. Do you see white people playing with black doll? So that's how I brought my daughter up. I only bought her black dolls because that was thing that my father taught me. White people don't play with black dolls. So you don't give I'm not giving my black child a white doll. So again, it goes with the mind. Is what we put in ourselves. I mean, I look at myself. It's all my mom has 7 kids. My brother, he was as red as them white cockroach that come out the pit. And I follow him and I come out. I got my grandfather complexion, dark like nobody business. I wish I was a shade lighter. I'm not gonna lie, but I ain't bleaching. And then my other brothers and sisters in between, they're lighter. I am the darkest out of all my mother kids.
Love yourself.
But I love myself because I ain't bleaching.
Good.
I'm going to live how God gives. That's how I was made. I am not bleaching. And it's not like I can't go buy bleaching cream, but I refuse to bleach. It's how God created me. What am I going to do? Go bleach my skin, mess up my pigment. And
he doesn't,
when you look,
he doesn't make mistakes.
Exactly. And
He knew
that's why
what
we
he
have
was
to
doing.
wonder why we have so much skin cancer and all kind of cancer, because in all these nonsense that we put on our skin to try to lighten the shade, change what God made us into and all that stuff. So yeah, we just gotta love ourselves.
Yeah.
I just gotta love this little
good
black
point.
chocolate
Okay.
girl here.
I got to switch. I got another call.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Okay, that person's
It's
gone.
a
Yeah.
mentality. That's what I've been saying all morning. You can get all the education in the world, but if you don't love yourself and you have a low self-esteem and you keep thinking that there's something wrong with you, with your hair, with your skin, with the way you appear in public, then that's where it starts.
Another call. Here we go. Caller, you're on.
Man, let me go here real quick, man.
Hey.
You know what I noticed? It go both ways. We the black skin, some of us, we want to look like the orange skin. And the orange want to look like the black skin. I remember one day in St. Thomas, I was doing my exercise on the beach. And when I was passing down, there were 2 orange skin ladies laying down flat on the back. And one of them said to me, "Oh, we are getting there." And she took her right hand and she left hand from the waist, go right up to her shoulder, showing me the color. So I said, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "We are getting there, your color." I said, No. Who no black already? Now go black again. So, doesn't matter how long you lie down in the sun, you can't come like me. I born with this and you born with that. And be contented with what you got. Remember what Sparrow said, no? 2 white women walking through Africa, find themselves in the hands of a cannibal headhunter. Cook up one and eat one raw.
Well, I think that's a different song, but...
When he done, he said the taste so good he wanted more. And Sparrow said he envied them because he never eat a white meat yet. And my oldest brother, by my father's side, one day when he come from Sunday school, his mother said to him like this, "Desmond, what you learn in Sunday school?" He said, "Mama, I see a Lord of Jesus." She said, "Why am I stupid?" He said, "Well, Lord of Jesus. There's only one Jesus." But what happened? The teacher in Sunday school showed them a what we call almanac with a load of white nigger upon it in long gown and frock with straight and pointy eyes, pick nose. No black person was between there. So he said, "Well, all of them, they Jesus." So why they should have paint all the color there and call them Jesus and not none of us color? But we have to learn to accept what God make us with and live with that. And that is the reason why I don't care. My hair them could be white like Alaska mountain with snow. I'm not going to paint my hair black. I'm going to satisfy And all of those incendies who like to talk about the black this and let's go back to Africa because the black man down here getting this from white people. Look who they married to. Look at it. Some of them leave here and go to New York and marry to the same people who they're abusing, saying that they're oppressing us. So they're only talking, but they mean it from the heart. They're like an Oreo cookie. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for your contribution. You know, one of the things that I think we're straying away from it is that it is a purging of the mind, a cleansing of the mind. Because if you look back in history, Elizabeth the First, the Second, all of those numbers, she wore very white powder on her face, and she was a white woman. The geishas in Japan, they wear very white powder on their face. So, like a caller said initially, bleaching is not just, relegated to the blacks or to Jamaicans or to Nigerians or Africans. It happens a lot in Asia, and I've been saying that all morning. Indians bleach just as much as Africans. Chinese persons bleach, white persons as well. It has nothing to do with your race. It is a mental disability. It is you not accepting yourself. It's almost just as how we have issues with anorexia and bulimia. You're not happy with the way you look. You're not happy with your complexion. And so you're trying everything possible to change it.
Okay, we have another call. Caller, you're on Island T.
Yes.
It's 9:45. Go ahead.
Quickly, yes. I think in one of those African countries, I don't know how many of them, but they are moving. I think they have already set it in motion to ban these bleaching products
This is true.
that they're bringing in
Yes.
from America and those places. And I don't know why some people think that a bleached skin looks beautiful. To me, it sickens my stomach because the skin looks so unhealthy. I don't know how many people look at it, really look at the bleached skin. It looks unhealthy. And there are certain parts of the body where the bleach, the darkness will never move. Like the elbows, the knuckles, the finger knuckles and so on, those things there, it doesn't get it out unless they do something that is real strong. But
because that's the complexion you're born with.
Sorry?
It's the complexion you're born with, so you can't really get rid of it.
Yes.
It's
but
always
2 male callers ago, I agree with him, because that is another thing that I wanted to say, but I think I was on long enough. I agree with him. We need to teach our children the importance of this melanin. This is what the Creator has given us to live on this earth in the sun, so that the harmful rays of the sun does not destroy us in terms of giving us cancer and all of that. We don't know who we are, The others know. That's why for years this fight is against us. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Everywhere we turn, we are always faced with roadblocks. We can't even be left alone to live our life.
Amen.
You understand? Right. So that's to tell us something. Instead of us going around moping, hanging our head down and feeling ashamed and wanting to be like everybody else, when they want to be like us, they know, because all of our manuscript, all of our scrolls, all of our information, everything, they have them. So they know who we are. They know who we are. And they try everything in their power to withhold that information from us in terms of having an identity of self. If we truly reach to the point of knowing who we are, listen, a lot of these decisions that a lot of these men and women making, they will never do that. They will never do that. They will vomit till they want to vomit their stomach out to realize and understand the decisions that they are making them look like fools and thinking that they are up in A. You see? So the second to last caller, he said that thing about teaching. That is the important thing. That is
Yes,
the
I
important
think
thing.
that is the biggest
Why-
takeaway. It's teaching.
Why
I think
is
that's
it?
the biggest takeaway.
Yeah. Why is it? They have a problem with our natural hair. They want us to straighten it. You understand? Why? There is a reason. Our hair is the only hair that stands on end, worshiping the Almighty Creator. Why is it that we have to kill it? Or we are told to kill it? There is a reason. And finally, before I go, I don't know how many of you have realized it. It doesn't happen with straightened hair, but your natural hair. Stay in a room and comb your natural hair, and some of it falls to the ground. All right? Your doors are closed. There's no wind blowing. Get up from that room and go inside another room, and you will realize that your hair has moved on ahead of you, or it follows after you. I am observant of these things. I don't think many people have looked at this. And these things don't mean anything to anybody. Look, you see, the hair has life. We say it is dead, but it has life. Look, you see, get up from that room, and you will see your hair already in another room. It has moved on ahead of you, or it follows you after. Don't take what I say. Do your own check. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left on the show, and you know we have a sitting of the House of Assembly this morning. Let's take another call. Island T, you're on.
Good morning, Johnson.
Hey, what's up?
And Candisie.
Good morning.
Journey here. Guys, listen to this. The scripture says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Now, the sister and the Rasta guy who called earlier, there was a sister, she said she grew up in St. I think she lives in Connecticut. I'm happy that she's listening. Jamster, you know the days of Afro, right? You remember the days of Afro?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a reason why our hair grow that way, Jamster. Our hair signifies the sun, the S-U-N. So we get our energies from the sun, Jamster. Now, as for the race that grow their hair down like animals, it's a genetic fact that their hair grow that way. Now, look at the damage that they have caused to us. We want our hair to be like them. Look what they did to Michael Jackson. A complete black man, and they turned him into a white man and said he had a skin disease. Now, I'm not going to go deep into that. But, Jamster, genetically, they are the defects. We are the direct expression. Now, I'm going to bring something spiritual to you, Jamster, if you're familiar with the scripture. Moses married to an Ethiopian woman, and Aaron's sister spoke out against her, and she was shut up for 7 days, white as snow. Now, this should be a lesson to all of us who want to look white. The sister in Connecticut said she wished she was a different shade. So you see, as much as she claims she's a Christian, she's unaware how deep our spirituality and our culture is. The Rasta was saying that we are not black. We are matter. The scripture said darkness was on the face of the deep, Jamster. We were the darkness, the blackness. Our Creator moved in darkness, and as you know, nothing come out. Life, there couldn't be life without darkness, because the womb of the woman is darkness. So light and life came out of darkness. You see, these creatures know who we are, and they know what they are. What we have today in white supremacy, going against Black Lives Matter, Jamster, they so know. But let us look at white superiority. And then when you look at the scripture that says that the woman was shut up for 7 days, white as snow. The woman who spoke out against the Ethiopian woman that Moses married, Miriam.
So you see, everything is in reverse, Jamster. We have to see this and look at it because we matter. And as much as they've been killing us for decades, Janister, the more they kill us, the less they see of themselves. And the more they kill us, the more we multiply because we are energy. We only take on the form of flesh physically. This is deep, Jamster, but we need to wake up. Our reality is at stake. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's we got 6 minutes until 10 o'clock, and like I was telling Candy, yeah, we have the sitting of the House for 7 this morning, so that should be interesting. All those bills that are going to be tabled, and we talked yesterday about how, I remember when we were talking about the 420 accommodations at the venue. Basic logic said that they would have to table some legislation to allow that. So, and as you heard Azard read out the list yesterday, and there was a bill I think they're addressing that might be intended to address.
It is. That is
yes,
the only
exactly.
time they're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
have.
yeah. I'm just yeah. I'm going 90% versus 100%.
No,
You know what I
because the
mean?
thing is, the truth of the matter is that the bill should have been passed before, and so in that instance, we may have put the cart before the horse. But at least we're getting a bill passed to address something that is not happening just yet. So we will be covered, legally speaking, as it relates to smoking in public, smoking marijuana in public, cannabis in public. Because the only parts of the bill that were actually activated were the medical segments of it and specific sections of the medical segment. So this bill is definitely going to be passed in order to address the upcoming Sinkers Music Festival and the 420 lounge that they've announced. And the Minister of Tourism actually did point that out at the last press conference.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what is going to be put forward.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I think that another bill that I'm excited about is the whistleblowers bill, and I know it's something that Garth, our AG, has been passionate about. I think the first time I heard him mention it was at a youth forum that SNIPA, the Sinkers National Youth Parliament Association, was having. And so I've been with my ear to the ground for quite some time now, waiting to see when that was going to drop and, what the contents of the legislation were going to be. So I'm excited to see that.
But what I found was interesting that yesterday when AZ was reading the list and he talked about the whistleblowers bill, and right before or after, right next to the whistleblowers bill was the Freedom of Information, something along those lines.
Right.
And the two bills, and when I heard them together, I thought, giving with one hand and taking it away with the other. I just found it interesting that you had one bill.
Because of the nature of the Freedom of Information Act? Because I think the bill is to amend, I can't remember the proper name of the bill, but it's something with Freedom of Information Act as it relates to information that's released to the public. Is it that?
Yeah, something like that. And so I thought, it's conceivable that you have the Whistleblowers Act, but then you have this other act which if you read it on its face, it's like that's an act that's intended to, in some cases, maybe all but neutralize the whistleblower.
But granted, something that the AG said that I think everyone has kind of missed is that not all information can be released to the public, right?
Of
not
course,
everyone can read a piece of legislation and understand it. That's why there's specific persons for drafting and interpretation.
Yes, but I just thought it was interesting that yesterday Mr. McMahon was thinking the same thing I was thinking. But yeah, to your point, obviously there's some things that, obviously there are going to be things that they can't tell, and I totally understand that, It's the same way in the US. I mean, obviously there's certain things that they just can't tell the American.
Granted, when it goes to court, you can redact, or if it's going to go into public, you can redact some of the information. But then I still don't believe that everything should be released to the public. So sometimes I'm looking at CNN and they're talking about how the government is going to do this and do that in order to, pin down Ukraine or pin down Russia, pin down China, get this information and disperse the information. And I'm thinking, do you ever see Russia saying anything like this? Do you ever see everybody giving out all their information? How else will you be able to, sometimes there's something to be said about withholding and stealth
I
and,
agree.
just getting things done and then speaking about it.
And you know what's funny? Sometimes I look at these. Sometimes I listen to some of these American reporters, and I'm like, these people are idiots. And you know why I say that? Because some of the stuff that they're reporting, some of this stuff, I'm like, especially with the Ukraine war, I'm like, really? Did you really have to say that? You're putting people's lives in danger, maybe Ukrainian soldiers or even some of the NATO countries that are helping them. I'm like, some of this stuff we didn't need to know.
And you know what?
And it's like they're not smart enough to figure that out on themselves.
Freedom of information.
Yeah. Okay, so we got 1 minute until 10 o'clock. So I'm going to have to go and set up, for the National Assembly. It was nice hanging out with you.
Definitely. Interesting morning. I feel like some of our callers kind of got off topic. We're talking about when we were talking about bleaching. But interesting morning nonetheless. Condolences to everyone that is affected by all the deaths that are happening around us, to Mr. Elliott, to Mr. Clark, their families, condolences. We remember Tina Turner, simply the best. And we remember the children of Madia.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
And our Ken Richards.
Oh my goodness, how could I forget Ken? Yes, to the family and friends of Ken Richards.
Yes.
Condolences to everyone. Take comfort in the memories. And we will see you guys here again tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in as usual to Island Tea.
And thank you for joining me. Interesting chair.
I am obsessed with it. It's like an antique chair that my dad has.
Okay. It looks like a child seat for adults.
It's very Bridgerton-ish, so I think that's kind of why I like it.
Very Bridgerton-ish. I like that. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna see you tomorrow.
Definitely.
Okay.
Have a good one today.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, Candy Face.
Oh.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock, and we are gonna be joining the National Assembly, the sitting of Parliament this morning. So let's get these words in, and then we'll come back.
Found the sound 98.9 Win FM.
Magnum new labor charge up, and it means that the vibes look just like you.
I your name a call up, can't you see that the hot girl just passed through?
Selector just call up, can't you see that